this was made by Claude, this was made by Claude, and this. And all of these games have something in common. None of these games use an actual engine like Unreal, Unity or Godot. Do we even need game engines anymore? That's a question I've asked myself after we've got access to Fable 5 for about 2 days. And to answer that question, I decided I'm going to create my own game engine, only using AI, and see if it's faster, easier, more efficient, and most importantly, will I be able to turn it into a multiplayer engine? Hello! Please create a game engine which is capable of Steam multiplayer. I want to take it as far as having a main menu, the possibility to create/join games, and have the player in which I can control it. Please do that, make no mistakes. Please do that, create a whole thought through step-by-step plan. You can also include your own ideas or things you think we need to include. Make no mistakes. Thanks. Okay, so that's our very general prompt, and now all we have to do is wait. Claude created a zip for me, so I go into here and I start Claude in here, I think. Like so, and yeah, I trust this folder. Extract, open terminal, first message. Okay, so I put that into here, I guess. So Claude just cooked up the first phase, and we apparently got this window right here. He called it a bean engine. Shout out Dani. Yeah. I don't know how or what that is, but I guess it's now ticking and the FPS is not dependent on the the ticks are not dependent on the FPS, which is important. So that's delta time, I guess. Anyways, let's continue. Holy shit, he even pre-filled it. I don't have to do anything anymore. Alright, so we're back at it. Let's start the PowerShell again. And go into the folder, cargo run, because I've seen some tests which Claude made while prompting. And not while prompting, while creating it. And these were these beans. And as we can see, we've now got some beans. Okay, alright. We're now at a spot where we can actually navigate our bean. We can walk around, we can jump. We're not colliding with other beans yet. I guess Claude will implement that at a later point. But walking around works, everything is rendered. It looks like the beans are even shaded, which is very nice. And I think our engine is coming together. I'm now just going to continue to create the next phases, because after some time we'll probably even be adding multiplayer. Okay, so we've made some progress on the actual networking side of the whole project. Someone just disconnected, that was probably that client, because here's client 1, he's currently connected already. That was this one, I then tested, he's disconnected now, and if I now run and connect, you can see 2 clients are connected, they've got different net IDs. So we've already got that set up, and by we I mean Claude, which is awesome. So we can now continue to actually make the beans spawn in one world and make it so they can see each other move and stuff like that. Okay, we now finished the next phase, and we are now actually able to move around on both clients and we can see each other. So the networking is nearly finished. We still got to add some polishing, but I think Claude will take care of that in the next phase. Okay, Claude now finished the 7th phase, and we are now at a point where we can still move around, but he added something under the hood, I would say. Interpolation, because when multiplayer you are going to have a ping, you're always going to have some kind of latency. And that's the first time I've encountered some problems, I guess. Maybe will be fixed later, but the interpolation, as you can see, I'm currently moving with the left client here, and the orange bean is kind of bugging around. From the POV of the other one, it looks alright, but when standing still, I think there are some miscalculations which should not appear. But we'll see. Claude will probably fix it. Let's just continue phase 9. Alright guys, some progress was made. We've now got a main menu. Bean engine. Still don't know why he called it like that. But yeah, you can now host games like this. We've even got the net status thing there. We've got a net over. Oh shit. We've got some debug things, even some graphical debug things, which is yeah, practical. And if we now go to the second client and hit join to my local host IP address, we can see that we actually join, which is pretty nice. And if we now hit leave, we are leaving again, join. And if I hit leave on the host, the client is still in there. Okay, that makes no sense. Gotta tell that Claude to fix that, but yeah. Other than that, it works pretty good. I'm pretty impressed, so I will now tell Claude to continue with phase 10. Stay tuned. Okay, the next phases are finished now as well. They weren't as graphic as the phases before because only the Steam implementation was implemented. So I was finally able to send a build to my friend, and we then tested it, and we were actually able to host the game through Steam, invite each other through Steam. The Steam overlay was working, so the whole Steam integration basically was working, which is very impressive because the AI built it from scratch. I told him to not use the Godot wrapper, so it's basically insane, and we were able to test together. But now I'm kinda excited, and I thought, why not continue now? So I gave Claude the task to extend on the engine and implement some physics, some better rendering, audio, and so on. So we might even be able to create a whole editor for the engine. But let's see. So yeah, here we are. After a whole night of Claude running in the background, I just started a remote session and accepted everything Claude wanted to do, and this is what we've got. We've got some bloom, which we can enable and disable. We've got this, whatever that is. We can set the quality of the shadows. You can see here they are a little bit more blurry when turned to low. We've got sound effects, which you can hear. We can even turn down the music. Sound effects will still be there. So we've got different buses for audio. We can even shoot. This is a projectile. And when hitting the other player, we're actually getting a hit registration, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that concludes the engine made by Claude. I'm very impressed. It went way better than I expected. We got a complete Steam implementation without writing a single line of code ourselves. And I'm probably going to continue on that engine, and if you don't want to miss that, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, see you in the next one. Bye.